and welcome to episode 16 of This Boy podcast. I'm David, and you can find me in all of the usual places, such as Ravelry, as This Boy Knits. In Ravelry, we have a This Boy group where you can go on and discuss lots of topics from how I do my dyeing, ask me anything, introduce yourself and say hello. I always love to meet the new viewers, new subscribers. I host most of my giveaways in there. You can also find me on Instagram as This Boy or David Reeks, and you can find me on Etsy, where I have my shop called This Boy, where I sell all my own hand-dyed wool and project bags. So it's been a little over a week, just about, since the last episode, and I just want to apologise to everyone for the low quality of audio. Now, I've sat myself closer to the camera today, so you can see my pretty face and hear me. But in the last episode, it had been a couple of weeks since I had uploaded, and during the editing process where I normally increase the volume, I forgot to increase it. So it was the same with the dyeing tutorial. They've both been re-released with audio. Enid, I'm sorry you still can't hear it. I'm going to send you a huge set of speakers so you can hear me better. I don't want to upset anyone or have them turning away because the audio quality is poor. They were both my fault. All the previous ones have been okay. It was just a technical error with the upload. I have got a little post-it note now stuck to the side of my computer that says, remember to increase volume. So, it is a very, 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 very hot day here. The whole of the UK and Europe is getting a heat wave at the moment. It's set to be a very hot September, which is good for the allotment. Not so good for me and the dog when we're out and about. We can't stay out too long. So yeah, I had a nice walk around the park today with Max, who's had his hair cut. I was recording a little bit earlier and had to stop because my phone rang, and it was the dog warden. I was out with Max the other night. This was before his haircut, thankfully. I left him in front of the shop where I always leave him. Lots of people leave their dogs there because you're not allowed to take them in. So I just hooked his lead over a handle and went into the shop, as I've done hundreds of times. Then a lot of people came running in to tell me that Max was being attacked. So I kind of dropped all my shopping on the floor, ran out, and there is a gentleman or family not far away who have an Akita, which is, in general, now this may offend people, but in my what I've heard personally is that they can be a very aggressive dog. They're some kind of Japanese fighting dog, but personally I don't believe in a bad dog. I believe in bad owners, and these people don't have a clue. I'm sorry, they're never going to watch this, but in my opinion they don't have a clue. You see them getting dragged around by that dog. When they see other people and dogs on the street, they have to cross the road because the dog's going to try and attack them. They keep them on the shortest little leash and they're dragged along the road. So I came out, and there he is standing there with his dog on a lead, and Max is sitting there panting like mad. So this was about 7 at night, so it wasn't even warm. And there was quite a few people, maybe about 10 people, all standing around. And this young girl came up and went, "That dog just attacked your dog." So I grabbed Max and got away from where the guy was standing. Now, at that time, he had the dog on the lead, but he kept approaching me, trying to say what had happened, and I was backing off because he was getting dragged by this dog. So I almost ended up back in the shop with Max. So what had happened was the dog had escaped out of the front door, saw Max, bolted straight for him, had him pinned. I'm not trying to distress anyone. Had him pinned to the ground, and had a hold of Max by the back of his neck and his back. So initially the guy said, "Oh, sorry, she got out and she just pinned him down, that's all." And when I looked down, you could see all the wet drool down him. And then, of course, because it looked wet, I was panicked it was blood. So I was like, "Well, why is he covered in drool?" I said, "That dog needs to be on a muzzle." I was so angry, I was shaking. I think it's the closest I'd ever come to, you hear about mother's instinct and how the adrenaline kicks in. I'm an extremely non-violent person. I would rather walk away than antagonise someone to being hit. I'm not exactly the largest or strongest of people, and this guy is considerably larger. I wasn't caring. My dog was injured, or at least I thought he was. So as I say, the guy kept approaching, and I told him I'd be phoning the police, and he told me basically, on you go, and he walked away. So there was a couple of younger girls there who came over. They'd been crying at it. They were checking he was okay. Um, so I'd asked someone if they could just keep an eye while I ran back into the shop because I had no milk or anything, but I didn't want to leave him there on his own. So luckily, two of the young girls who were there, they were waiting on a bus, waited with him. I came out and they were all over him. He seemed okay, so I got back into the house. I phoned Dave. I was really upset and angry. I phoned the police to get told because no people were injured. They couldn't do anything. And I said, but it's a dangerous dog. Oh, we can't do anything for dog fighting. I said, they were not fighting. My dog was attacked. My dog was on the lead and tied up at shop, couldn't even defend himself. Anyway, that was the dog warden phone back. They've issued a pre-controlled dog notice, which is kind of like a doggy ASBO for, I'm not sure what it is in America, Canada, or elsewhere. It's like an antisocial behaviour order for dogs. So the pre one means that they can get a visit at any time, and if there are any more complaints about the dog, which I'm surprised there aren't any. I'm not scared of dogs, but I'm terrified of this one. If there are any other incidents held against him, it becomes a dog control notice, and then they have regular visits, and I think they can force him to take him to a dog trainer at their cost, which, I'm sorry, with a dog like that, it should have been at a dog trainer long ago. I used to take Max to dog training when I first got him because he had certain behaviour issues. The training works. Anyway, that was my drama. Not much in progress, different from last time. The shawl hasn't made much progress. I've been sewing and quilting. I've taken up quilting. But I did finish. I showed you the wool I bought, and it was some hand-spun wool. So I made myself a pair of fingerless mitts, like I said I was going to. So these are going to be my winter gloves. I'll just pop one on. Now, I'm not sure how, yeah, no, it shows up. You can see it's got a really cool cable up here. It's got a thumb gusset and a thumb. And I mean, the only issue is they don't particularly match. I think I've got these on the wrong hand. This doesn't. Oh, it's inside out, that's what's wrong. I was thinking, oh no, I've sewn two gloves the same way. So yeah, I showed you this one with the cable, and this one. So yeah, they don't particularly match, but they're probably going to be for the allotment. Although I have bought different wool for more of a matching pair, but I'll show you that in acquisitions. So that's it for finished objects, knitting wise. I think I'll stick with wool at the moment, and then we'll go on to the other things, just in case nobody wants to see anything about sewing or quilting. So in acquisitions, I purchased this book. So Max was in getting his hair cut on Monday, so I had a wander around the area, and they've got a nice little second-hand bookshop. So I had a rummage and found a book on shadow knitting. Now you see it, now you don't. Written by Vivian Hawksborough. So shadow knitting is something I've looked at for a while. So there are a couple of jumpers in here, like, because I do like two-tone things. I mean, this one's quite interesting. It could make a cool jumper for someone. Update the colours a little bit, but I like this one, and it would probably fit me, to be honest. I'm tiny. So yeah, I shall show you some progress on this as it goes through. There's some nice shawls in here as well. Some cushion covers. So yeah, if you get a chance to have a look at this one, Vivian Hawksborough. I think it must be an American book or Canadian because there's no British price. It's $21 US or $30 Canadian. So yeah, this was one of my purchases. Winged shawls, square bags, matching cap and scarf, vest, sweaters, and Japanese style kimonos is what's in the book. So I'll be starting a project probably after Perth Yarn Festival. Remember guys, October in Perth. Salutation Hotel, come along if you want to see me. Beardy Shield mentioned he wanted one of my bags, but I'm pretty sure Eva's told me I'm not allowed to sell bags at the Yarn Festival. So I'll just sell you them out the back of the car. But yeah, the bags can be bought off the shop. So other purchases are I bought Swift knit stripes. So it's grey and I like the wee pop of orange. So I bought this more thinking these would be allotment gloves. So it's got a little picture of what they kind of would turn out like. So I'm taking on board that you want yarn reviews. So this one is called Swift Knit Stripes. It's a super chunky by Stylecraft. The shade is 2059 Orange Glow. It's got the dial-lot number. So it does say on here it needs 10mm pins. And it does have a free pattern on the inside for those fingerless mitts. But I think I'm going to do the same pattern. I forgot to say what the pattern of those were. It's a Blue Sky Alpaca cabled mitts. It's a free pattern. Just Google it. I'll put a link below of where I got the pattern. But you can find it on like Craftsy and Pinterest and stuff for free. It's a really good pattern. They knit up really quickly. I do 2 at a time and fly through them. So yeah, I really like the colours. I'm not a massive fluorescent orangey person, but I'm hoping there's more grey than orange and you'll just get some kind of a random striping, which will be cool. It's very soft, squidgy, cosy. These will be good in the winter when I'm having to do any digging. Everybody seems to be pregnant, at the moment. So I have bought this very, very cute Rico Baby So Soft. It's, again, they don't really have colour names. It's anti-pilling, it's 100% acrylic, it's very soft, it will be completely washable. And I got this with 2 other balls of wool, and I think I got 3 of them for like £10 or something like that. It's a 100-gram ball, there's 250 metres in the ball. Self-striping, I've no idea how it'll work out, but it's going to be a cardigan for a little boy, and I just love those colours. The sooner I learn to do striping, the better. So this one, and then if you remember when I was in Perth with Eva from Eva Christie Hand Knitting, I purchased some, I think it might have been Rico as well, I'm not entirely sure, but it had bamboo in it. And I was trying to do a top-down baby sweater, top-down raglan one, and it has, it's called Anders, and it has like a snowy scene Fair Isle pattern. I didn't like, there wasn't enough stretch or give to the bamboo. It was very like, I think knitting with like cotton or something must be like where wool has a certain amount of give and this didn't. So I got some more, but this time it's acrylic, so it's got a nice bit of stretch to it, but without being too stretchy. Again, it's Rico Baby So Soft. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Baby So Soft. Double knitting, I should have said. And I bought the white to go with it, but I reckon the white, if I need to, can also be added onto the blue for things like cuffs. And I think that's it for knitting acquisitions. So we'll talk about the shop. I am starting tonight taking stock of all my undyed wool, seeing if I need to dye more. I'm hoping Perth Yarn Festival is busy, but what I don't want to do is spend an absolute fortune buying more yarn and it not selling. It is the first one, it's the inaugural one, and these things can sometimes be quiet. If we were doing it over a whole weekend, it might be different. So I'll be dyeing plenty, but I may just dye what I've got in stock and take that with me. And if I sell out, well, fantastic, I'll have made a nice bit of money. But if not, it's all stuff that can still sell in the shop, but I've not spent another like £400 on ordering wholesale wool. Earl Grey. So yeah, as of tonight, I'll have taken stock, I'll know exactly what I've got in stock, I can work out my profit margins, I can dye that all up, and I will stock more of a minimal amount on this shop for now, because it's only a month away. Just so that I actually have stock to go with. I don't want to get there with like 4 balls left. That wouldn't be the best. I'll also have to design some kind of stalls, like display. I'll need to ask Eva if I need some kind of sign, over the front of the table, things like that. I'm meant to be travelling through to Perth later today. I am noticing it's getting later in the day. Eva, if I've not come through, I apologise. It really has been one of those days where I slept late, I feel terrible for it, and I've just not got everything I wanted to get done. But I knew I wanted to podcast because there's lots I wanted to talk about, so that took priority. But I still have like about 2 hours that I could get through and see you, so fingers crossed. Bags. I've put on Instagram that back by popular demand is the Feeling Sheepish bags. So this one has a nice little This Boy label attached with a nice red zigzag thread. It has a grey handle. It's lined with a really flash of pink purple, and it has a navy zip. Again, these are probably about, well, here are 3 balls. Not everyone has skeins. So there's 1, 2, 3. 3 skeins, and the bag isn't bulging or anything, so that kind of gives you an idea of how much you can get in there. But I just love this fabric, and it's been so popular. I keep selling out. I can't make them quick enough. These have been getting sent all over the world. There's one in Iceland. I've lost count of them in Canada. Canada loves this boy, and I love Canada. The rest of the shop, it's all just kind of sitting up here. That would be Teeling, Scottish Bluebell. I still have some of the silk left. I really need to put that more into shawl packs. This Boy Knits side of it with the pattern writing, I now have all them back. I've had some great feedback, and all you guys will be getting drawn for free will for your participation. It will be in October after the Yarn Festival. I don't want to just try and do too much because I've still got to work and live and everything else. And I'm so appreciative of you guys. So thank you. I haven't forgotten about all your hard work. So This Boy Knit side of it, I think what I'll do is, if I can get them written properly, I may sell them at the stall if I'm allowed to, as like a kit. I know that's kind of what Eva does. I'm not sure if that's infringing. It's a Yarn Festival though. If not, I'll be selling them on the shop, like a little printed one with either all 3, and I can supply the amount of yarn you would need, etc, etc. So within those patterns, there's a cowl. What's wrong? There's a cowl, there's a hat, and there's fingerless mitts. So they're all designed to kind of coordinate. So what I need to do is work out if like 2 skeins is enough. Come here then. You're coming up. Max is grumbling, and I don't know why. Here. Come here. He's just had his haircut, so he's quite itchy and grumpy. Come on. Hello then. Did you come to say hello? Oh, shush. Right. Say hello. Say hello. You're getting cozy. Oh, cozy. You're just a wee boy. He's grumpy because he's not getting on the bed just now. And he's awful tired because he's been running around the park, haven't you? Yes, you have. Right, put you back down that side. There you go. Oops, sorry, kicking the camera. Yeah, so there'll be 3 patterns sold as one, and I'll work out from everyone's calculations how much you need to finish all 3. I have asked some friends who knit and crochet to crochet using some of my wool, so that at the shop, at the stall in Perth, I can show people what the knitted up or crocheted up work looks like. It gives them an idea of colours and how they blend, show if there's any pulling or any little bits of striping I can get in there, things like that. So that should be quite cool. So I think that probably covers it for the woolly side of things. So I shall talk about sewing. So as I said, I've been sewing up these, and I have been sewing up, I showed you this last week, the camper vans. I've still not put them on the shop, I apologise. As I was saying, a lot of people seem to be pregnant at the moment. So I decided to try my hand at quilting. Now when I started sewing, I was like, oh, I'm never going to get into quilting. It looks expensive, it is. But I quilted this. Now it does need bound at the edges, and I've used a herringbone stitch. Let's see. Actually, you might see it better on this cream square. There we go. So it's got a herringbone stitch running this way and then down that way, and it does it all the way along and all the way across. So it's cot size or pram size. There we go, I'm back into focus. But it's so cute. Little girls are so much fun to sew for and knit for. I find little boys a little more difficult. But that's the quilt, it just needs bound. There are two of them because I did a 2-metre square size. I'm not quite sure what's happened with the binding, so it's a way to get ripped off the binding that is ripped off and reattached. And then my other friend from university, and I now work in the same hospital as, is having a little boy, and I was struggling to find out what to do for him. I saw really cute, I'll put a picture up. It's a fox. Actually I won't, because I don't know if it belongs to someone. Just go on to Pinterest and Google little boy quilts if you're really interested, and it's this really cute rectangular quilt. It's got a fox in the middle, it's got like a turquoisey blue theme to it, and it's got some applique trees, and the fox is appliqued. It's so cute, and I would love to do something like that. But I saw this now. Leslie's family is from Arbroath, which is like a fishing town. Her dad works with the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, like my granddad used to. So I kind of went for this nautical theme. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do this yet. I may cut out squares, incorporating each bit of the pattern, and then perhaps cut the bunting off and use that as like the binding. I'm not sure if that will work. I have to sit down and plan it, and I'm not going to rush into it, but I think that would make quite a cute binding around the quilt. So yeah, and it's just a nice kind of baby blue, looks a bit more white there. It's a nice baby blue colour for the back. I won't be doing the herringbone stitch again because I went through so much thread, it was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like totally ridiculous. So I'm still loving the new sewing machine. I just want to talk about these little lights. They're not showing up, and that's not quite what they were supposed to do. And I'm just wondering if I somehow get them to focus in. But it does say, this boy, oh, it's not even completely in. Excuse the motion. It does say, this boy. And what I'd like to do is have here, episode and then the number. There aren't any numbers with it, unfortunately. Oops, put the untidiness in. There are no numbers, so it would have to be episode and then the word SIXTEEN with it. I'm happy enough to do that. It just has to fit in this area. And as you saw, it's attached with blue tack. I can't think how on earth to stick them down. I don't want to do it permanently, obviously. In the same charity, well, not charity shop, the secondhand bookshop, I found a book on the quilting source book. And this one is by Maggie McCormick Gordon, nice Scottish name. And it just has lots of things. If you're interested in quilting, I'm still learning, but all the different types of motifs. Because what I really wanted was a book that showed me how to attach the binding. But all of the really traditional, proper ones, I'm sorry if this camera's squint, it looks squint, tell you to bind by hand, and ain't nobody got time for that. But it has a lot of like pin peel patterns and how you cut them. But I really just wanted to know how to make a baby quilt and how to bind it and which size to make it. Yeah. So that was one book, and then I got it's a bit dated I think, but the Collins Complete Book of Soft Furnishings. This wee bookshop is amazing, by the way, it had everything. And it's just, yeah, okay, some of the fabric and some of the detailing may be a little dated to the maybe 90s or early noughties. Probably 90s, I think, looking at these. I'm not going to show you pictures after me saying that, because it might offend some people. It's not supposed to. I think it's the fabrics that are used make them look a little more dated. Like it tells you how to make a pelmet, but then the colour of the pelmet is not exactly, well, it's certainly not my cup of tea. It's a bit too decorative for me. But it has cushion covers, and as you all know, I've discovered I have a little penchant for cushion covers. That was what I wanted to mention. Oh, so we'll go into that in a minute. So yeah, it's just, I'll have a look. Again, it was only a couple of quid, so I'm not going to fall out with them. The dye off. Now, I've been terrible. So, Eva, the dye off. I have been terrible. I have not dyed it yet. And I know Inga has showed hers, but I have purposefully not watched the episode. So my first task tonight at the dyeing station is to dye that one up. And I have a concept in my head. I may record it as a tutorial because I think I'm going to do resistance dyeing, and I've had some requests for that, and I love doing resistance dyeing. This camera is quaint. I hope you guys aren't watching me on this kind of weird angle. Apologies. Something else for you to moan at me for. So yeah, I haven't watched it. I know it's going to be beautiful whatever she's dyed, but I don't want to spoil it or it to influence my decision on how I want to dye it. So I have it in my head. It's locked up tightly here. So I will plan to do a tutorial tonight on how to do it. A friend of mine, Ailey, who is crocheting a beautiful little shawl out of this boy's, it's a dark grey colour. I think I called it smoke or chimney suit, or I don't know, something strange. It's on the sparkle base, and it's a really nice dark grey, and it's just this beautiful kind of lacy shawl she's crocheting for me. But she has also very, very, very generously offered to come around and help me with some dyeing, so we can both kind of take a pot and a colour each and just get on with it. I trust her. She's she's come up and done little dyeing days with me before. She knows what she's doing, and it's not like I'm not going to be there because it's the same cooker. We'll just have like one side of the kitchen each. So it's still this boy wool, it's still this boy's colours, it's just this boy dyed with a bit of help from that girl. I think that's possibly it for acquisitions. It's a bit all over the place, I do apologise. Oh, that was something. I was having coffee with a friend. We were sitting outside because it was sunny. This was in Dundee town centre. And there's lots of seagulls about, and the sun umbrellas were down. And he was laughing about something, and he threw his head back and laughed as the seagull poop splattered him right in the face. I literally sat there wanting to laugh as he just sat there. He'd clamped his mouth shut as soon as he noticed it hit, so luckily nothing went in there. Don't be grossed out, guys. And he just sat there and then got up and ran away to the bathroom. And I have not laughed so hard in a long time. And when he came out, we had to sit there and try and be like, don't laugh, it's not funny. But then finally he started laughing, thankfully. And yeah, can you imagine getting pooped on right on your face? Literally, had it been any closer to the right, it would have been in his mouth. Not pleasant. Yeah, yuck. Talking of seagulls, there has been this young one kind of outside the flat. And it seemed to be on its own, so I started throwing some bread out. I don't like seagulls, but I certainly wouldn't see anything young suffer. The parents don't seem to be about, and now every time I go to my window, it now flies up towards the window thinking it can get in, and it's now started sitting under the windows, like on the ground, weep, 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 non-stop. I'm kidding you, non-stop. So that's about all the laughs I've had to listen to that. I wish I hadn't started feeding it, but because I've started, I shall continue. I am probably despised by the neighbours for doing it, but it's not at the main door, it's round the side, so I bought my house, they can't do anything about me feeding a seagull, they can bugger off. Trying to think of anything else. I think that might be about it, and we're just about to hit 30 minutes, so that's not too bad. I mentioned in episode 11 or 12 or 13 that I had been out and about. I can't remember if I was at the dentist. I was up that end of town, and I spotted some what I would call graffiti. Not in it's not a derogatory term. I'm not trying to put down anyone who does street art. It's just what I call it, and I really liked it. So I mentioned that there was like Dundee things about it's no a circle, it's a roundabout, things like that. And I never got around to putting anything up about it. I took pictures and I said I was maybe going to do a little expose on what's special about Dundee, the way Eva does about Perth. But I noticed Eva's put one up, and that some of the art is very similar, if not the same. Like there's a seagull. I'll put them up at the end of this episode, the pictures. And that's not me trying to say, oh, Eva's done it, so I'll do it. And I'm not trying to say I mentioned it, so Eva's doing it. We're both passionate about the places we live, and because she's put hers up, I remembered. But mine will just be pictures, probably at the end of this. There's a lot going on in Dundee at the moment. We're getting the new V&A museum, the Albert and Victoria and Albert. So there's lots of building going on in the town, but it's attracting a lot of new businesses, a lot of hotels. So hopefully it'll work out. A lot of people are expecting it to bring a lot more tourism to Dundee. Because Dundee, it's almost like a big town. It's a city, and it has a large enough population. But in the town centre, which I quite like, everything's fairly close. It's sort of like Perth. You don't have to go miles and miles to get to anywhere. Whereas Glasgow, I love Glasgow and Edinburgh for shopping, but I have to go there for dedicated shopping days, and I have to go there early so that I can get home early and I'm not completely exhausted. So in Dundee, you can walk from one end to the other. Places like some of the wool shops like Fluff and that, they're out with the town centre, but if you've got a car, it's literally 2 minutes away. If you take the bus, it's on the route in, things like that. So it's had a new big green put in down in the town centre where they've extended it, just in front of where they're building the V&A. It's a shame, there was a new wool shop opened up called Wool & Co, and she had some beautiful wool in there, and unfortunately she closed down. I think she picked the wrong location. The town centre is probably not the first place I would want to open a wool shop. It's not something that gets lots of passing trade. I would think most people going to a wool shop are going there for that reason. And I think the rates were just unfortunately far too high. And I'm so sad that she closed down. I used to go in a fair bit. She seemed really nice. And I know Eva had, I think she bought maybe some window space from her or rented it. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. And she was just really nice, and it's such a shame that a new business has opened up and had to close down so quickly, but hopefully we'll get another one soon. You can never have too many wool shops. So for now, I'm leaving the 400 subscribers open, because I notice most of the time, after I close one, there tends to be another 10 applicants, so I'm just going to leave this one running. The Cal, what I forgot to talk about, the knit along with me and Kirsty, the little bee, that's the name of our podcast, I'm not referring to her as BITCH, finished the knit along, I think. Yeah, finished the knit along. I didn't finish mine, but as I said, I wasn't entering, so it was fine. There have been so many entries, it's going to be so difficult. So I'll be in touch with Kirsty soon, and we'll pick a joint winner. I have to admit I've not had much chance to go through anything on Ravelry, never mind Kirsty's group. I'd imagine, because I think most of our subscribers are the same people, that it's probably just mostly duplicates, but there's bound to be one in there I haven't seen. So I'll go there, we can come up with the joint first prize for the one we both love, and then we both, well, at least I'm going to pick a favourite, and we'll see how many prizes we can get together and just award lots of prizes. The more the better. So forgive me if I'm wrong in thinking that the knit along is finished. That was 2 months. So yeah, thanks everyone for participating. I want to say hello to Leila Spencer, who came up with a wonderful idea of a joint Scottish knit along for all the Scottish podcasters. Because we're all kind of spread across Scotland, I think it would be quite a good idea to try and come up with something that's special about Scotland as a whole, and maybe not as regional or something very, I don't know, we'll think of something. But I loved that idea, Leila, I really did. So yeah, let's talk about this sometime. I'll still be recording, but I'll probably not be doing as many updates, not that there's been that many to talk about, until after Perth Yarn Festival. So remember guys, if you're in the area, there's a Facebook page, If you're unsure of it, go and speak to Eva Christie of the Eva Christie Hand Knitting podcast. She has all the details. Now, in my mind, it's the 2nd of October, and I don't really want to say that in case it's wrong. Go and check the Facebook page out. If you're at all unsure, I'm sure Eva will have something on Ravelry about it. If not, it'll be, she's mentioned it a few times on her podcast, so it's maybe below or wherever our show notes are. So that's it for now. I'm hopefully going to go and take off and go and see Eva in Perth while this is uploading. Thanks guys, and I shall see you next time. Bye.